Welcome back to the Anything Goes with Jackson Neill podcast here on Thursday, December 6th. So glad you could come back and join us here on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and YouTube. Wherever you like to listen to podcasts, this podcast is here. As always, presented by Believe the Hype, our sponsor. It's on the latest shoes at Believe Hype Shop on Twitter and Instagram. Is the description for links to that. Today, really excited to share with you guys an episode I did, an interview with Anja Kotar. She is an awesome brand new artist right now. She's releasing a lot of new videos in 2018. Modern Galileo is her latest video. She has a new project coming out in 2019. I talked to her about her debut, which came out in 2017, all of her videos she released here in 2018, and her plans for 2019. It was a really fun conversation. A big thank you for her to doing it. And here is our interview. Your latest video was for Modern Galileo. Let's just start talking. How did that track come about?
Sure. So this was one of the latest tracks I wrote for Nomad. And I think I was trying to find a way to finish off the journey that I started on this album, because it was written about my transition from living in Europe to here in the States. And I felt there was a part missing about where I live now, and I wanted to sort of write a track to pay homage to Silicon Valley, to my hometown today, and our relationship with technology and how that might be unique than in other places in the world. And so as that I started to sort of describe the stereotypical Silicon Valley kid, living behind the walls of the suburban life. Because Silicon Valley, San Jose is more or less suburbia, but then exploring the world online through the internet. And as we were producing that, I wanted to sort of connect that into the music. So we started looking through different video game and computer samples from the 1980s. And so as that kind of opened up the floodgates and we just went crazy on them. We found a lot of different samples and sounds that we wanted to incorporate into the production. So that's kind of how everything came together to be this sort of futuristic, tech-inspired track for Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the track and I really liked it. I thought it had a really unique kind of story behind it, and I was just kind of cool. And so you dropped the video. What was the inspiration for this video?
So once again, we wanted to sort of try and do a combination of current times, but also something that would direct us towards the future. And the photographer that I work with, Janju Green, we looked at Blade Runner as our inspiration. That was sort of a big theme behind our video. And so we loved the play on color in that film and how every scene was set up very uniquely aesthetically. So similar colors, similar vibe, similar lighting. And so we wanted to create 3 unique, distinct scenes where everything would sort of match up and be in the same realm. So one of them is the sequin, disco ball look. Another one was actually shot in Chinatown in LA, which is sort of that neon, almost Asian-inspired look, which is kind of a tribute to immigration and the sort of the melting pot that Silicon Valley is becoming now. People from Asia, from all over the world coming to create the future. And then the last one was actually shot at 11 p.m. Super late at night in front of the LA Disney Hall. We were kind of sneaking around. We loved the curved walls. And we were like, this is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. So we were sneaking behind and trying to find the right angles and the walls that would fit with our video.
Well, I mean, it all turned out really well. If I
Thank you.
And from my view of it, I didn't really realize. Watching the video, you wouldn't necessarily pick up on all these things just watching it. But now that you explain it, it all kind of comes together and makes sense.
Thank you. That's awesome. I love to hear that. That's really great to hear.
So in addition to this one, you've released a couple other videos this year. And I noticed in all of these, you have some, director credits, kind of production credits. How involved are you on the behind the scenes and just the creation in that way of the videos?
So everything that I've put out visually, I've worked with the same photographer and videographer. So we met a couple of years ago when I was actually back here in Europe performing, and we immediately clicked. And I felt like it was an opportunity for me to sort of start collaborating with him. And right off the bat, 2 weeks later, we did our first photo shoot, loved it. And so we started this creative partnership. And so because I am an indie artist and because me and the photographer, his name's Yanni, work very tightly together, that means that I was very involved with the process. visuals in general are very important part for me, for music. I love fashion, and so I think whatever I do, I immediately sort of start mirroring it through visuals, through what I'm wearing, through how I see this music. And I think Yanni has been of a great aid to sort of help bring this all together. So I try to be as involved as possible. All of these ideas I come up with. I try to create mood boards and really spend time on making videos that will not only look beautiful, but that will also mean something, and that won't be just sort of a random photographic component to the music, but that will actually be able to deepen its meaning, or sort of maybe bring to light a different meaning that you might not hear through just listening to it. So, but Yanni has been really great on the technical side to sort of be like, all right, let's do this. This is how we can capture what you have in mind. So, on my end, it's been a great working relationship, and we are continuing it, and I'm super excited for the future.
That's awesome. And it was crazy. My next question was actually, I saw you work with like a lot of the same people, and just talking about that and how it's when you're able to do that, it feels like, I mean, you can really probably attest to this. You're able to get a very similar kind of design and that aesthetic to each video, to where they're unique, but they all kind of fit together one by one, if that makes sense.
Yes. No, that's very important for me. I think especially when you're growing in music or in any other field in life, really, it's great if you surround yourself with people who are as ambitious as you are and who are approximately the same level as you, so that you can grow together. Because I've been fortunate enough to be able to craft real friendships with these people, whereas now we can truly trust each other. And when you have that sort of relationship with someone where you can be 100% honest with them and sort of filter yourself in worries that you'd offend someone, I think that ultimately leads to better results, especially when you know someone that well, you can already sort of predict what their ideas will be. And I think at the end of the day, it helps me and it helps the people I work with to create better art. And it's better for all of us in the long run. So I think those kind of relationships are what I try to nurture the most, and I really, really value.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that sounds like the perfect kind of thing. I like that how you mentioned that, you grow together, as people who, it's not just you looking up or looking down to someone. It's kind of like, oh, you guys can actually build off of this
exactly
together.
Yeah, totally.
There's something you mentioned. You mentioned how you are into fashion. I saw you might have you have your own brand, right?
Yeah. So as I was working on releasing Nomad, I was trying to find a way to sort of bring a deeper experience to the listener, something that would be able to bring them beyond the music and sort of take them into the world of Nomad. And I was trying to come up with ways to do that. And the natural thing to me was to do with fashion. It's a huge passion of mine. I love doing it. I love expressing myself through it. And so as I was brainstorming about how I can incorporate that, we came up with the idea of creating an online store that would connect music and fashion. And so the online store is called Too Cool. It's taken from a lyric from the album, and it features a product for every song in the album. So the product is based on the lyrics, on the story of the listener, deeper into the world of that song. And the products are also featured in all of the videos, so there's even that deeper connection between the song and the product. And so it's been a great joy and honor to be able to do that, and to see people interact with that has just been the greatest pleasure ever.
Well, I mean, that's like I didn't really realize that's how deep it went, but that's so cool how you're able to kind of take all the different all the different aspects together.
Right.
And it just makes me think, you mentioned earlier, how important the visual component of music is to you.
Right.
You can't understate it. It's 2018 right now. In this kind of era, it feels like visually you have to not only capture the listener, not only just with your tracks, but through your visuals as well. So I think that spending almost, for you, it's been, what is this, all of 2018, video after video, that has to be something incredible, right?
I mean, like I said, I feel very fortunate to have been able to do that, and a lot of the people that I work with are doing this because they see an opportunity for themselves too. So it's been definitely a creative process for all of us, and a huge honor and opportunity to even be able to put out that many visuals and work on this together creatively. So I think looking back, we're all very proud of this year and what we've been able to achieve and put out so far.
Definitely. And so now looking forward to 2018, it's almost over here in December. So I heard you're releasing new music in 2019.
Yes.
Is that something you have planned?
Yes, it's actually something that I've been working with. It's been a very odd year because publicly I've been releasing all these videos and sort of still trying to continue and finish off the story of Nomad. But at the same time, actually, since January, I've been working on brand new music. And so it's been a very interesting sort of balance to do something behind the scenes but put out something else entirely. So I'm actually in Europe right now. It's midnight. Because I am working on filming brand new visuals, brand new photos, everything for next year. And we've been working on this concept really since June to really try to do something different and to present myself in a different light, going more in a very straightforward pop direction, but doing so once again with a sort of individuality where we can both combine beautiful visuals with a deeper meaning. So I feel very excited about this. I feel very passionate about what we've been able to create. So I am so excited and can't wait for the first song to come out next year. Yeah, I'm so ready for it.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, since January, you said, so we've been spending all this year kind
Right.
of in the background working on music. Something I keep noticing with you is you always say we. It's we. We're working on stuff. We're doing this. And you always talk about your collaborators. This upcoming album, who are you working with on it? Who have you been working with in terms of the music and the visuals? Same old people, some new ones, a blend of those?
So on the music side, it was super important for me now that I've been able to gain a certain following of my own to give opportunities to young, ambitious indie producers to work with, because I genuinely believe that that's where some of the greatest ideas come from, from these young people who live and breathe current music and can sort of better visualize the future because they live in this world. All of this new music I'm writing is about our generation's relationship with technology. And so I wanted to engage the people who will understand that relationship and this sort of environment on a deeper level that maybe older people would. And so I actually reached out to a lot of different producers on social media through Instagram and met a lot of new incredible people and worked with a different producer for every single for next year. So that's been a fantastic experience. I've learned so much. I've gained some brand new relationships that I absolutely cherish and will continue to work on those. So that's on the music side. On the video side, I'm continuing with Yanni as my biggest collaborator just because at this point he truly understands the vision. It's very easy to communicate with him, but we're bringing a lot more people on board just to help with hair, with makeup. And so it's very exciting. A lot of them are doing it for very low rates or for free because they do believe in this project so much, which helps a lot for us because I'm an indie artist, and there is a limited budget to everything. But a lot of people have sacrificed a lot of their time and work in order to do this. So we both feel very excited to do this, but also we feel the pressure of having to do it right. So it's definitely, it'll be a great way to cap off 2018 and then great to see how that all goes off in 2019.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it sounds, got a lot of stuff going on right there. I want to touch on
Right.
real quick the different producers for each song. How is that different from working with a new producer for each track? How is it different from maybe having a single producer do an entire project?
Right. I think if I had decided to do that with Nomad, it probably would have been kind of a mess. But this year, I feel a lot more comfortable with music production. I just graduated from Berkeley. I'm now working on my master's from Berkeley in music production. And so I've learned a lot about music production on my own, by myself. So every time that I created a demo, I basically had a lot of the production already laid out. So I didn't have to go into the studio and sort of sit there and try and figure out with the producer what the sound is going to be. This time around, that process happened in my home studio. I sat at the computer for 8 hours a day. I was like, okay, how can we do this? Let's figure this out. And so that part of brainstorming was already done. So I had a very clear image of what I wanted to do. And I think because of that, it was easier for me to reach out to different people and ask them, hey, let's add your own flair to this. And so I think it helped to keep a continuity between all of the songs because I did have the demos done and I had a very clear image of where I wanted to take the music. But at the same time, I think it gave room for each of the producers to sort of use their own respective style that they feel most comfortable with and bring some of their own influences into the music. So overall, it's been a very rewarding experience.
I mean, it sounds awesome. That sounds really cool right there. I mean, I like hearing that, having the different flair for each single track, because while it is, I love albums that have singularly produced throughout the entire thing, but that has one kind of direction. When you're able to have different producers and, like you said, young people who maybe have haven't proven themselves, but they have different
Right.
ideas. They have different sounds they want to hear in a song. I think that just
Yeah,
helps
for sure.
everyone grow.
Definitely. I totally agree. And I think that goes right off what we were talking about before, growing with people of your size, creating relationships with those people, creating friendships. And I think definitely I will continue working with these producers throughout this when we do end up releasing an entire album in 2019. So that's been a fantastic experience. I've met some incredible people.
I mean, it sounds like you got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff heading up. How excited
Yeah,
are
I'm
you?
very excited. Very. From 0 to 100, I'm at 350. Definitely.
That's a really good place to be. Thank you so much for doing this and doing
Thank
it at
you for taking
midnight. I
the
didn't
time.
realize the time difference. I was gonna
Oh,
try to
no,
do it
no, no.
earlier.
No, you're totally good. I picked this time on my own. Don't worry about it. I've been busy all day, so we're totally good. I appreciate you taking the time for this, and I really appreciate you going so in depth with this and being excited with the people you interview. That means so much to us, the artists. So I have to tell you, you're very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Again, a big thank you to Anja for coming onto the show. Remember, check out all of her great stuff. I have links in the description so you can watch her videos and make sure to support her there. And with that, that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Anything Goes with Jackson Neill podcast. Remember, check us out on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast on any one of those platforms because, like to listen to us. New episodes coming out soon. Have a couple really cool interviews coming up. Next one is Business Boy. Let that one leak a little bit early because he's a really, really cool producer I'm going to be talking with about his collaborations with Sway Lee, Black, Party Next Door, all those people. So that one's coming out soon. So make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JacksonNeil20. There you can find a little behind-the-scenes stuff, little extras for the interviews, all that great stuff. So go follow me on those platforms as well. With that, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you all next time.